When preparing a new product for mass production, there's a lot more involved than just filing a patent, assembling parts, and shipping the product. Behind the scenes, there are a number of activities needed to get into production, such as engineering, tooling, and setup, and oftentimes these costs are underestimated. That's where non-recurring engineering costs, or NRE costs, come in. These are the one-time costs that help transition from development to production. And really, the outcome of paying these NRE costs should be to build a product that can be repeated with the same outputs and quality. In this video, we'll break down what NRE costs are, walk through some common examples, and explain who typically pays for them so you can plan your budget and avoid unexpected costs down the road. Now that we've defined what NRE costs are, let's break down what they typically include. These fees are not meant to be hidden charges, but they do go along with the work that needs to happen before your product is ready for mass production. Here are some of the most common examples of NRE costs. First, tooling and mold fabrication. If your product has plastic or metal parts, custom tools or molds are needed to make them. These molds are tailored to your design and can cost thousands of dollars depending on the complexity. Once the mold is made, you can start producing parts at scale with consistent results. Tools and molds are one of the more costly NRE costs that you'll face. Second is custom fixture or jig design. Mass production means nothing if the parts are inconsistent. This is where custom jigs and fixtures come in. These are tools used on the assembly line to hold your parts in place, test components, or guide workers during assembly. These fixtures and jigs are unique to your product and will create uniformity through all production runs. Third, PCB layout and prototyping. For electronic-based products, one of the key NRE costs is getting the circuit board made right. That includes PCB layout, firmware integration, and building early prototypes to test everything together. Your PCB board might need several iterations to make sure it fits, performs well, and meets all design specs. And those iterations fall under NRE costs as well. Fourth, mechanical design optimization, also known as design for manufacturing or DFM. Even if your prototype looks great, that doesn't mean it's ready for production. Engineers often need to tweak the design so it's easier, faster, and cheaper to manufacture. That might mean changing wall thicknesses, adding draft angles for molding, or simplifying assemblies. All of that optimization work happens before production, and it's a one-time cost as well. You can learn more about DFM from the video above. And fifth, product certification and compliance testing. Depending on where your product will be sold, it might need certifications like FCC, CE, or UL. Getting certified means preparing documentation, working with labs, and sometimes even building test units, all of which adds to your NRE cost. But without it, your product can't legally ship. So now that you know what NRE costs are and what they include, the next question is who actually pays for them? In most cases, customer pays for the NRE costs. These costs are specific to your product and aren't something a supplier can reuse for someone else. Whether it's a custom mold, a testing fixture, or a PCB layout, that effort is dedicated entirely to your design. But with that said, there are some exceptions. Sometimes a supplier will offer to eliminate or reduce the NRE if they expect large volume orders. Another option is if the supplier agrees to amortize the NRE costs into the unit price over time, but this usually comes with some trade-offs, like higher unit pricing to start, something that most brands want to minimize. It is also important to clarify the ownership of the tools and other equipment from the NRE cost. For an example, if you paid for the mold, then you likely own it. But if the supplier covered the cost and didn't charge you, then they might claim ownership, which can create some complications if you ever want to move production. The key takeaway here is don't leave this open-ended. Always confirm how NRE costs are handled in your quote and manufacturing agreements. This kind of clarity upfront can prevent a lot of confusion and a lot of friction with your supplier down the line. To wrap things up, NRE costs are a key part of getting your product ready for mass production. They cover the upfront engineering work, tooling, and certifications that make reliable, high-volume manufacturing possible. If you're navigating your first production run or just want a clearer picture of your supplier's quote, feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to talk with you. I hope this gives you a better understanding of what NRE costs are. If you have found this helpful, then please like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you do have any questions, then please just comment below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Thank you everyone for watching.